Today on the DML News podcast, Kamala Harris goes viral over the weekend with the hashtag Communism because of her new plan for making sure that food companies basically go out of business. We're going to talk about that today. Also, the DNC starts. Denny's got some information about it. Trump is headed down to the border this week, and if you've ever watched my movies, you know exactly where he's going. It's Cochise County. It's the worst of the worst. And then a video from a black woman veteran who went viral over the weekend because illegal aliens are getting money from the government to buy businesses here in the United States of America. You can't make this stuff up. We're going to talk about it, and it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. Denny is across from me. My son Ryan is on the controls. We come to you on a Monday. We say, happy birthday, Miss Mary. That's right. Today's my wife's birthday. She's 55 years old. She is what I call a cougar. She's got me by a week, but we have spent 40 great years together. Best day of my life ever was walking in the ninth grade to Holy Trinity High School, seeing the woman I was going to marry. Went home, told my mom. I said, Mom, I've seen the woman I'm going to marry, and boy, did I get that right. So when I tell you what's going to happen in the future, you should listen to me because I nail it down pretty friggin' well. So happy birthday, Miss Mary. With that in mind, over the weekend, hashtag Communism, C-A-M-unism, as in communism, went completely viral on Twitter, better known as X, where now I spend all of my time, and I can't tell you how mad I am at myself that for years I put energy, time, and money into Facebook, building up a 1.5 million person following, only so this way I can say what a mistake. But we are building our X community in just a few days without any advertising or anything, just by posting and telling people, Facebook, I'm over there. We're well over 10,000 people. I believe I'm going to have millions by the time the election is either over or by the time that people just finally learn more about the truth that we're putting out there. So we want to say thank you to you if you are one of those people. Okay. What I'm going to do here for the DML report is I'm going to give you some truth serum. And like I said, over the weekend, Elon Musk, he retweeted a post about Kamala Harris and the fact that she is going to solve inflation by forcing the food stores and the food manufacturers and the agricultural people to all stop gouging you, as if inflation is because corporations are saying, let's gouge the American people. Kamala Harris is trying to make you feel as if her spending and Joe Biden's spending money that we don't have, keep on printing money, sending it to Ukraine, giving it to illegal aliens, which is confirmed today, by the way, giving it to places that make no sense, basically flushing our money down the drain in all these programs and packages where we're just giving out free money to American citizens, encouraging them to just sit on the sidelines and not get a job. That all of that cockamamie stuff they did for years, causing the worst inflation that we've ever had in my lifetime, that wasn't their doing. It was the doing of companies who are big, bad, and evil, and they want to gouge you. And she's going to come in and save the day by forcing a price-fixing program that is familiar to those in Venezuela, the Soviet Union, Cuba, you name it. Communism being brought to the United States of America. And what has happened as a response is CNN and other people in the lefty media are looking at this and saying, oh my God, we're screwed because we can't cover up for Kamala anymore. In the same way we couldn't cover up for Joe Biden after the debate because he exposed completely what the entire right was saying. No cheap videos here, no cheap fake videos there. No, Joe Biden showed all of America who had its head in the sand. I can't get a full sentence out. I've got full-blown dementia. And although I feel bad for anybody who's got that crippling disease, you shouldn't be the president of the United States. You shouldn't even be running the PTA if that is your condition. You should be home enjoying the few years you have left of your life and trying to get the best out of the end of your golden years versus destroying the United States of America with your crazy liberal Democrat agenda that is pushed by Barack Obama and a world of scum that want to have it as being one world order where we're all following whoever it is the leaders are at the time, Barack Obama and Michelle maybe, and we just sit there and do, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Can I have some food, please? That's what they've been trying to commit to. That's what they've been trying to make. And Kamala Harris is proven that she is so willing to go right down that line. Never forget that she was rated the most radical Democrat in all of the Senate. And she will do whatever she needs to do to find power. Food fixing. Well, Elon Musk saw a post from a man named Robert Sterling. Robert Sterling was a CFO, and he was an investor, and he spent an incredible amount of time in the food industry, specifically in mergers and acquisitions. And this man laid out what happens if Kamala Harris actually gets her way. And I think it is worth me reading this to you for the DML report because it is just so damn powerful. And I'm going to read it verbatim. So you're going to have to excuse me if I get some of the stuff wrong because it's written very well, but not perfectly. It's definitely not the way I would speak. But here we go. You ready? Number one, the government announces that grocery retailers aren't allowed to raise prices. Number two, grocery stores, which operate on 1% to 2% net margins, can't survive if their suppliers raise prices. So the government announces that food producers, Kraft, ConAgra, Tyson, also aren't allowed to raise prices. 3, not all grocery stores are created equal. Stores in lower income areas make less money than those in higher income areas, as the former disproportionately sell lower margin prepackaged foods instead of higher margin fresh products like meat. Because stores in lower income areas aren't able to cover overhead, remember, even if their wholesale costs are fixed, their labor, utilities, insurance, and other operating expenses are not fixed. Grocery chains start to shut them down. Food deserts, if you will, in rural areas are now in low-income urban areas alike become worse. 4, meanwhile, margins for food producers are also quickly eroding. Their primary costs, which are ingredients, energy, and labor, aren't fixed, and their shrinking gross profits leave less cash flow available to cover overhead, maintain facilities, and reinvest in additional production capability. Number 5, grocery chains, which have finite shelf space, meaning limited, start to repurpose their stores. That's if they didn't shut down. And they do this to sell more non-price controlled items, everything from nutrition supplements to kitchenware to apparel, and less price controlled food products. So basically, your local Kroger or Safeway or Publix wants to look more and feel more like a Walmart. Number 6, food producers stop making products with lower margins. Grocery chains start competing with each other to secure inventory. Since they can't compete by offering stronger prices, remember, producers aren't allowed to raise prices here, and even if they could, grocery chains no longer have the gross profit to bear price increases. They compete on things like payment terms. 7, small grocery chains start to shut down entirely or get sold to larger chains like Kroger. In addition to not being able to cover fixed costs, a major reason for this is because they can no longer reliably secure delivery of products due to producers prioritizing sales to larger customers, which are able to leverage their stronger balance sheets to offer superior payment terms. 8, smaller food producers, which typically sell via distributors rather than directly to grocery chains, start to go out of business because these producers have an additional step to their value chains, and because they have lower volumes over which to spread their fixed costs, their cost structure is inherently disadvantaged compared to major food producers. When grocery stores aren't able to raise prices, Cutting product costs becomes all the more important, and deproprietary, making it less important on purchases for smaller producers and an easy way to do so. 9. As supply chains break down, lines start to form outside grocery stores every morning. Cities assign police officers to patrol store parking lots, and food producers draft contingency plans to assign armed escorts to delivery trucks. 10. The federal government announces a program to issue block grants for states to purchase and operate shuttered grocery stores. The USDA also seizes closed down production facilities. 11. The government announces that prices for all key food costs, corn, wheat, cattle, energy, etc., are also now fixed to stop profiteers from gouging the now government-operated food industry. 12. Shockingly, the government struggles to operate one of the most complex industries on the planet. The entire food supply chain starts imploding. 13. Communism, mass starvation, and the end of America quickly ensue. This is a man who has spent his career in the business of investing, looking at due diligence, looking at numbers, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. It's his job to do that. If he invests, if he does a bad M&A because he doesn't do his due diligence, Dennis, he will lose everything. So the reason why I read that verbatim is because when you're looking at somebody and wanting to know if you're getting an answer that you can bank your vote on, you just got one right there. And that is Kamala Harris's biggest Achilles heel, her brain. She's brainless. Somebody from the radical left gave her this idea of food fixing. She said, oh, that sounds great. That sounds original, because I can't come up with anything original of my own. I either steal Trump's no tax on tips, or I come up with this and I read it off a teleprompter. And now I think we can say the honeymoon with this woman is coming to a conclusion to where now we're smoking her out. She's got to give a plan. She's got to give answers. She's going to go into the DNC right now. Starts today, is going to end, it'll be all week. No doubt you're going to have a bunch of crazies up there like Jeffrey Marsh and all these other ones. And people are going to say, I don't want this. I don't want this. This is nuts. People aren't even going to tune in. And so here we are at the end of the week. My forecast is, despite the media's effort to push this woman as Queen Kamala, the one who's going to save the planet, they're going to sit there and say, who freaking picked her to be the replacement? It's going to be the Democrat Party a week from now is going to start to infight in a way we've never seen them fight before.
I agree. You see a lot of different clips popping up now as she starts to address the press. And there was one that was absolutely disastrous with a CNN reporter. So she's struggling in trying to seem authentic, original, not scripted. I mean, they just had that whole gas station snafu where they did the same gimmick twice in a 2-minute span.
And what was that snafu?
She was looking for a snack, and Doug Emhoff, her husband, gave it, and then they repeated the same line with Tim Walz getting her a snack. So she's trying to come off as authentic, and that's really hard because everything she does is scripted. There's even rumors that she's got a little bit of a drinking problem and that she's been drinking on the campaign trail. So she is definitely exiting the honeymoon period. And I think you're going to see it that at the DNC this week, they're going to try their best to gloss her up by means of who's going to be speaking. So I know tonight they have Biden, who's also going to make it as his farewell address. Hillary will also be speaking tonight. Tomorrow is basically Obama Tuesday. He is the main headliner. Then Wednesday will be Bill Clinton, followed by Tim Walz. And then it caps it off with Kamala. Now, we asked our readers this morning if they would have any interest in watching the DNC this week. We did it via a poll. And right now we're at 88% of our respondents saying no, they will not be tuning in whatsoever to watching the DNC.
Well, we have no choice because it's our job. And, the good news is about having the DML News app. The good news about having Team DML is that we're going to give you the clips. It's our job. So you'll get the best and the most egregious parts of that entire DNC experience. It's funny, over the weekend, in her campaigning and giving her speeches, she actually referred to Trump, not by name, but obviously she was talking about him. She called him a coward because he is demeaning to certain people like herself. She said this in Pennsylvania, of all places. Donald J. Trump took a shot to the ear. Had he not turned his head, we all know he's dead. He didn't take more than a day or two, and he's back up on the campaign at the RNC. He is going all over the country. He's got massive crowds. He's got a Secret Service that he can't trust. He's got a woman who's doing breastfeeding instead of watching her detail. And you're going to call this man a coward? This woman won't even hold a live interview for 4 minutes with her own friendly media. She was put on the cover of a magazine and still turns down interviews. That's a coward. That's somebody who's trying to hide who she is and is so afraid of her own voice and her cackle. I can't believe people can't see through this. So I think what we're going to see this week, no joke, you could put Barack Obama all you want, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all the people. It's funny, on Twitter, maybe Ryan can toss this up if he's got the chance. If he doesn't, no big deal. There was the DNC speaker lineup, and it was 9 people. And it was Barack and all these other people. And I said, you know what? That doesn't look like a speaker lineup. That looks like it should be the top 9 most wanted list from the FBI. Because each one of those, I mean, rape, treason, fraud, deleting servers of confidential information. I mean, the list is long, and meanwhile, this is their star lineup. And I just look at it and I say to myself, in order to win this election, even if there is fraud, whatever it may be, we have to come out in such great numbers to where they just can't play the games. And I think this week, hopefully, will be the extension of this weekend that just passed with this stupid food stuff. I'm hoping that Americans realize that the honeymoon is over, and now Trump has got to rise like a phoenix. People need to share everything he does. He's going down to Cochise County, Arizona this week as part of his rebuttal, if you will, to what's going on at the DNC. He's going to be meeting with the people. If you've watched They Come to America 1, 2, and 3, you are completely familiar with Cochise County because it's where I did the majority of my filming. And so this is a great thing. I have been saying all along that Trump should continue to hit hard, and he should. I don't think we need to talk about the race anymore. I don't think we need to question anything about her parents or talk about Willie Brown or anything like that. I think we keep on pounding her for being dumb, which she clearly is. You got to say it all the time. But I think Trump at this point now has to make a little bit of a change of a drive. Start pointing out all the problems that there are. Not just from a speech at a rally. Let's go places. Let's go to the border. Let's do more of those food mart things. Let's get Trump walking through a Publix, that's our food store here in Florida, and picking up stuff and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm paying how much for these potato chips? And open it up and see the deflation of what's in there, because you're not getting more chips, you're getting less chips and paying more. Let's get that sort of thing, because those things will go viral. Think about it. When Trump walks in, Dennis, to a fast food place, gives out $100 to workers, gets some fries, buys everybody food, it's all over the place. Well, now let's turn that up another level. Let's turn that up to where he's doing that, but exposing Kamala Harris at the same time. It would be a level of brilliance that has never been carried out yet in political spaces, political campaigns.
In a way, I think he is kind of doing that in different methods. I think I've come to the realization just from our different episodes and even this weekend, he is doing the work. It is just really the media running so much cover on the fact that they're trying to make Kamala the standout candidate, and by and large, most people aren't buying it. And I'll even go out on the limb to say that if she wins, obviously it's going to be some manipulation behind the scenes. But in terms of demographics, I don't even really think she's connecting with the young vote all that much, because if you're a young conservative, you're obviously not voting for her. And truthfully, if you're a young ultra leftist, you're also not voting for her, because one thing that the DNC is going to have to contend with this entire week is a bunch of pro-Palestinian protesters, and they all despise Biden and Kamala because they don't view their actions as being pro-Palestine. So I think if she's going to be winning over a demographic. Unfortunately, it is going to be the older Americans are still stuck in their liberal ways, which is shocking to me as someone in a viewpoint situation. So, I think he's doing all the work that he can, meaning Trump, to just showcase that her policies are bad. I mean, they're in the gas station with the gimmicky setup, and they're touching bags of chips that have been, triple inflated over a 3-year span since she's been in office with Joe. So I think if he just kind of continues to do what he's doing, and people continue to ignore those mainstream media headlines that show, well, the polling now states that, she's closing in, I think it's just all artificial and fabricated at this point. I mean, I've been seeing plenty of videos, and one of them was even Don Lemon's, of people doing the on the street, like ask, like, who are you voting for? And it's by majority Trump. So it makes me wonder, who is ABC actually polling to really get the results that they're getting? Because I just keep seeing videos where people say, I'm all in for Trump, or even, I've never really voted before, I've never been crazy about him, but I'm going for Trump.
There's an interesting thing right now trending on X, and it's worth me just giving this, because this is just so Democrat. It's liberal insanity. During the 2024 Democrat National Convention in Chicago, Planned Parenthood has set up a mobile health clinic near the convention site to offer free abortions and vasectomies. This initiative has sparked significant discussion and criticism, with some labeling the DNC as promoting a death national committee, reflecting concerns over the implications of such services at a political event. Critics argue that this move starkly represents the Democrat Party's stance on reproductive rights, leading the debates about the ethics and political messaging behind offering these procedures at a national convention. And oh, by the way, with all her pride, Hillary Clinton is the top responder here. And it says, I'm speaking at tonight's DNC. Join me and more people as we celebrate all the Biden-Harris administration has achieved for Americans and look forward to more progress that leaves no one behind. What can this lying sack of uselessness have anything to say in the positive other than, hey, by the way, there's a food truck outside. If you want to grab yourself, something for $10 that used to cost $2, you can have a meal before you go over and terminate a pregnancy. Is that what she's going to wind up doing? We're going to talk about food trucks in a second. Wait until we hear this one. But I mean, what is it that the Democrats actually think that they're going to tout today? Because there's been nothing. This administration has done nothing. And for people who try to make it sound as if people like me or Trump are racists, let me tell you something. I can't stand Hillary Clinton as much as I can't stand Kamala Harris. And in case you haven't checked lately, Hillary Clinton has the same color skin as I do.
I think their whole messaging is going to take really awful things in life and try to make it seem it's great. I mean, such as having an abortion clinic ready to, on the go, fast food on the go abortion right by the convention. It's no shock, because Kamala's whole premise as well, and she's blatantly stated it, is very anti-population. Have an abortion, have less kids, be fearful of the climate, and reduce your intake. So it's funny how they'll take something that's negative, the idea that life isn't valuable and that it should be negated, and then try to spin it as like it's your right to do so. It's kind of what I said, I think, a few episodes back. Their whole theme is to really value the selfishness of oneself. How do I benefit me rather than my family or future family, or even those that are part of my community.
The other thing too you got to remember as well is that we're up, Dennis, against a kind of battle that I don't think we've ever had before, and you and I have been talking about this, Ryan, as well, about how this war that we're in right now is an information of warfare. The warfare is info. It's an info war, to steal from Mr. Jones, and it is. It's an informational war that is taking place each and every day. Two things that I want to hit and I want to address here before we play an incredible video from a female veteran who happens to be black, and she's a business owner that's going to drive you crazy. It went viral over the weekend. But two things that the New York Times, which is pretty much the Bible of the left, put out over the weekend. And I'm going to read this straight from my own Twitter account. It says, the lying New York Times put out a BS poll today claiming Harris is now leading Trump in Arizona. 50% to 45%. That's a huge margin, and is now ahead in North Carolina and has narrowed his lead in Georgia and Nevada. They made no mention of returning their Pulitzer Prize for fake reporting on Russia collusion. That was the hit I gave them. Then, as if that wasn't enough, they put out this massive article in the New York Times called Learning Curve, how Kamala Harris has picked her shots. And they go over the things that she has done good, which is ridiculous. It's all about abortion, abortion, abortion. And when they get to the part about the border, which we've all recognized her as being the border czar because the video is there, he put her in charge of it, they breeze over this as in her only responsibility was to figure out why people are coming to the country illegally. I mean, this is the New York Times. If I took you from another planet and gave you the Times and said, who's Kamala Harris? And I gave that to you, you'd have no idea of what it is that she's caused at the border. You'd have simply no idea. And we spoke today, Ryan. I mean, you did the thing today about what's happening in San Diego, the drugs, right? You did the whole thing on what was going on with the with down in San Diego through Kamala Harris and her border czar activity. What's happening in San Diego?
Yeah, they were saying that I think there was 500 pounds of drugs that came over in San Francisco, and that
San Diego.
San Diego, and that every week it's been doubling with migrants crossing. So
it's getting worse. And it's not getting better. And none of that is mentioned at all, Dennis, in the New York Times.
Of course not. And that's why I'm saying everyone just needs to quite literally ignore these people. They are just running cover. They are propagandists at heart. And it's just funny to me that it's such a one-sided relationship. They'll do all this posturing to make her look fantastic, and yet she won't even speak to them. So, it doesn't shock me. The New York Times has lost their credibility a long time ago. I think it's more important to look at independent journalism and looking at what people are doing on the ground and showcasing the fact that other than advocating for the aborting of babies, she has done absolutely zero in her 4 years as vice president. I mean, literally zero. I don't think she has done anything that would be significant to say, oh, yeah, this is where she really stepped up.
One of the things that we have to really get out loud to the American people, and it's what I started to show off with communism, and something happened to Elon Musk over the weekend, and we'll get deeper into this. But the people of Brazil, a big move was take down information that we don't want up there, and Elon Musk basically said no, and so they came back because Twitter, Elon Musk X, has a representative that is down in Brazil. And they said, if you do not take down that content now, we are going to fine you $3,500 per day, and we're going to arrest your representative that's down here. That right there is communism on steroids. That would be the sort of thing, and I wrote this on Twitter. I said, get ready. This is happening in Brazil. So they had to shut all operations down. X said, screw this. We're shutting all operations down. Get them out of there. We're not going to start deleting content. Get out of there. And I said on X, I said, this is what happens in America if Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States. It will wind up being Elon Musk, shut down your X now, or you're going to be arrested. And I don't care how rich he is. They will get him. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. They will start it on the information fight first because you've got to kill the message. And in order to kill the message and the messengers, you've got to kill the platform. And I am telling you, if it is that she somehow in the middle of the night picks off a magic act, it's going to be in this order. Trump is jailed. He's silenced forever. Because remember, all these things that have been pushed off will come around again. He's going to be jailed. He's going to be ripped out of society so you never hear from him anymore. Number two, Elon Musk, because he's public enemy number two. They're going to take him down. X will be down. He'll be off. You'll watch Apple and Google will rip him from the store, from the App Store, and you won't be able to access it. And all you'll be left back with is Facebook, who absolutely is a propagandist for the Democrat Party. And this country, slowly but surely, will go deep into socialism, communism, and it's over. We've never had a more important election in our lifetime. That is what's going to wind up happening here. So people have to show up in huge numbers. Now, we're going to end the show here with a video that is just heart-wrenching. For people who are only listening, let me give you what it is. This woman is she's a black female, looks like maybe in her 30s. She's sitting in her car and she's clearly upset. She's crying. I'm going to let it speak for itself. Here you go. Play the video.
I need this message to go out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle, or my food truck. And he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I worked so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit, can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it. But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
So, Dennis, here we go. People question whether or not the illegal aliens in this country are voting. And there's no question in my mind they are. And now here we got American citizens living in tents, living on the streets, can't do anything, can't get loans, can't get anything. Serve a country like she served our country. She's sitting here. She's compromised in the sense that she needs the money. She needs to sell the food truck. She doesn't want to sell it to an illegal alien, but what the hell? She may as well, because she's using, it's U.S. funds that she's getting. We are now giving illegal aliens money to go buy businesses in this country. But if I'm telling you right now, if you and your brother walked into a bank right now and looked to get a $25,000 loan to buy her truck, they would deny both of you. But if you walked in and you're an illegal alien, you're going to get the money. Last word goes to you.
It's heart-wrenching and sad watching that. You can clearly tell that someone that, has really worked for where she wanted to get. And then she's just seeing that, these people come over and they get handouts. And the one criticism I would have for that lady is that clearly that she's got some Democrat leanings there. I think people really need to wake up that the current government and the way it's structured is not in favor of you. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about, that you worked hard to be able to buy that truck in cash. They care about, how do I get the votes? And an easy way to do that is let that border be wide open, and they just come and they'll vote for me.
Well, you nailed that on the head. All right. On behalf of Denny, Ryan, and myself, we wish you a great day. Of course, God willing, we're going to be with you again tomorrow. We're We're going to talk about what happened at the DNC and all the other craziness that has taken place. Real quick, I'm going to ask you, if you're Team DML, please, if you're not following me yet on X, open up an account. You don't know what you're missing. I can't believe I made such a big mistake for so long. X.com/TrustDML. Get on there and start following me. If you are not a member of Team DML, you're just listening to this program today, also, please go on X and follow us. And if you can consider it, go to teamdml.com and become a member for as low as $30 a year. It helps us stay in business. And then last thing, today, buy one, get one free on DML CBD Power, DML CBD Premium, Premier. We changed it to Premier a long time ago. Is BOGO. Today it ends. So get in there and get it. That's dmlcbd.com/BOGO. We'll talk to you soon. May God bless you and your family in the United States of America.
And today's Team DML blessing actually go. You didn't let me finish.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Today's Team DML blessing goes to Mom, and happy birthday, Mom.
It's funny because Mom said, "Is Denny going to give me the blessing today?"
Of course.
I said, "Of course he is." All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.